I am Shivaji Bhaskar, Faculty of Russian at the School of Foreign Languages, IGNOU. I welcome you all to this course, Basics of Russian Communication Skills Part 1. As you must be aware about the various concepts of basic greetings in Russian, you must have learned about the settings in formal and informal situation. We have used certain expressions like Здравствуйте, Привет, etc. When do we use such expressions and what are the basic concepts? You must be having a fair idea now. Now, in this module, we shall be discussing about various other communication in Russian, especially in situation-based dialogues. You have already learned about the usage of ты and вы, which we use in informal and formal setting. So now, I would like to take your attention to this special dialogue which we have used in order to understand the basics expressions. So, here we have a dialogue between two people, Pavel and Anna. We already know some of the names in Russian and which gender they belong to. So, Pavel is a masculine name, whereas Anna is a feminine. So, Pavel says, good evening. Pavel, добрый вечер. Anna, good evening. Добрый вечер. Pavel, how's life? It actually means, how are you? But when you are talking to somebody who is in informal setting, then you use different other expressions, like here we see Pavel is saying, how's life? Pavel, как поживаешь? And that is why here the verb поживать has been conjugated into the form of ты, which is you singular. You must have learned about the conjugation of different verbs, perfective and imperfect, as well as many other usage in the verbs of motion. But in this special module, you will be discussing the usage of these verbs in the conversation or dialogues. So, now let us pay attention to this dialogue. Pavel, good evening. Anna, good evening. Pavel, how's life? Anna, so, thank you. Pavel, you are welcome. Anna, see you. Pavel, bye. So, here you can see in English that these basic expressions are of very informal nature. That is why in Russian, especially when you have people around who are very close to you or who are your colleagues, your friends, family, use the expression of informal setting. Now, let us pay attention to the Russian part. So, Anna and Pavel, they are having a discussion, they are having a dialogue. So, Pavel is saying good evening, and for good evening in Russian we have добрый вечер. It could have been доброе утро, добрый день, but depending upon the context you can also use it as you wish. Anna, good evening. Anna, добрый вечер. Pavel, как поживаешь? Anna, так себе. Спасибо. Here you can also use все нормально, спасибо, все окей, спасибо. These are the same expressions used to describe the same sentiment, the same emotion, and you can also use these different expressions depending upon the context and the usage, but only one expression at a time. Alright. Okay. So, Pavel says you are welcome. So, when do we use you are welcome? We can use it in Russian as пожалуйста. See you. Пока. And we know пока means see you in informal setting. Then Pavel says bye. They can also use пока in place of до свидания. So, here we have learned about certain expressions which we categorically used in informal situation. So, I hope you have understood it very well. Now, let us go ahead and pay attention to another dialogue. So, the dialogue is between Olga and Alex. Olga, hey friend, missed you so much. Alex, hello, how are you? Olga, I am fine, thank you. Olga, what's new? Alex, nothing much. Olga, okay. Alex, okay, see you later. Olga, goodbye. So here you have seen it is a conversation between two friends who are close, and then they are using expressions absolutely different which we have seen in a formal setting. Now let's pay attention to the Russian part. Olga, эй, друг, я так сильно скучала по тебе. Алекс, привет, как дела? Ольга, у меня все хорошо, спасибо. Ольга, что нового? Алекс, неплохо. Ольга, хорошо. Алекс, хорошо, до встречи. Olga, до свидания. So here you have seen that we have used certain expressions of the informal setting like что нового, what's new, which actually means how are you, what is new, how's life, certain other expressions, but here we have used что нового for what's new, and for nothing much we have used неплохо, and here you can see that Alex has used okay, see you later, and in Russian we have used хорошо, до встречи, till we meet again. But here in an informal setting we have used до встречи to actually symbolize to see you later, but at the end we have used goodbye as до свидания. We can also replace it with пока like we have used in the previous dialogue. I hope you understand the basic nuances of the usage of such expressions, and with the help of these new words and verbs and vocabulary you can also make your own small sentences. However, we would like to recommend you to pay attention to the usage and the setting and the context of the conversation. Alright, now let's go ahead and pay attention to a new concept that whenever in Russian we ought to talk to somebody, we first introduce ourselves. So let's listen to the dialogue in which important aspects of Russian will be covered, that how in different situations we use different style of expressions, words, vocabulary and verbs. Let's go ahead. In this dialogue we are going to use certain other expressions. Please pay attention. Do you speak English or Russian? Вы говорите по-английски, по-русски? Yes, just a little. Да, немного. What's name? Как вас зовут? So what's your name? We can use the expression как вас зовут if it is for the first time you are meeting somebody and in a formal manner. However, if some older person or somebody who is professionally at a higher designation can ask как тебе зовут? So you have to understand that. Alright, so the next expression is my name is Anton. Меня зовут Anton. Nice to meet you. Очень приятно. So these kind of expressions you can use here, but I would like to take your attention to the expression do you speak English? Do you speak Russian? Вы говорите по-английски? So if you are asking this question to somebody, if you are in Russia, then the person might answer да, я говорю по-английски. Yes, I do speak in English. Нет, я не говорю по-английски. No, I don't speak in English. So there you would understand whether you will be able to continue the conversation in the desired language or you have to switch over to the native language itself. However, it would require you to understand the nuances of the language, but it is our recommendation that with the help of the vocabulary which you have learned in these modules, to use them as many as times in order to understand it fully. It would certainly help you. Alright, now we will go ahead and pay attention to some of the more conversational dialogue. You are very kind. Вы очень добрый. Here we have used you are very kind, вы очень добрый. If we change it into the third person, suppose you want to change it into she is very kind. Она очень добрая. They are very kind. Они очень добрые. So that you have already understood the usage of personal pronoun. singular and plural forms, you can change it accordingly. Where are you from? Вы откуда? Откуда вы? So you can change it, and depending upon the positioning of the different letters, you can also use it accordingly. I am from India. I am from Russia. Я из Индии. Я из России. Then in place of India, Russia, you can use any other name of any other country and put it in the same format. You will get the desired answer. I am an Indian. Ya Indians. If somebody who is a female but Indian, then the answer would be Ya Indianka. Where do you live? Где вы живете? And if somebody who is a younger in an informal setting, you can answer the reply in Я живу, and the question could be где ты живешь? Я живу в Индии, я живу в Дели, я живу в Бенгалоре, я живу в России, я живу в Москве, accordingly, which means I live in India, I live in Delhi, I live in Bangalore, I live in Russia, I live in Moscow. So accordingly, you can change it with enormous n number of different examples of cities, towns and countries of the world, so that you have the required answer. Alright, I hope the concept is clear. You can change it accordingly, and now we shall go ahead to understand more expressions of Russian. Did you like it here? Вам здесь понравилось? Here you have to also understand that in Russian, when we are using the tense, we have the past tense, the future tense as well as the present tense, and accordingly the verb is conjugated. So here we are going to understand a few more expressions where we are going to use the country, like India, Russia. India is a wonderful country. Russia is a wonderful country. So the expression would be India замечательная страна. Россия замечательная страна. Да, India замечательная страна. Да, Россия замечательная страна. Yes, India is a wonderful country. Yes, Russia is a wonderful country. You can also add the required expressions in between here and there in order to express yourself. Now the second one, what do you do for living? Чем вы занимаетесь? It means what is your work, what do you do? I work as a translator, I work as a businessman, I work as a professor. You can use any expression depending upon the profession, but the answer would be, as far as the grammar is concerned, я работаю. If it is translator, переводчиком. Translator is переводчик, but when we use it in this expression, the exact expression falls into a case which is known as instrumental case. So it changes as я работаю чем and кем, я работаю переводчиком, я работаю бизнесменом, я работаю профессором, and etc. etc. Different kind of professions you can use, but the grammatical concept would remain same. For example, кем работает ваш отец? What does your father do? Он работает врачом. He works as a doctor, or simply he is a doctor. So there you can use many other professions which we have learned in our previous modules and use it here, but the setting of the grammatical concept would remain same. However, in Russian grammar, as you must have learned, that in this instrumental case, the ending of the masculine and the feminine changes. So you have to be very careful while changing it. For example, if it is преподавательница, which means a female professor, it would be моя мама работает преподавательницей. So it would change accordingly. Alright. Okay. So I like Russian language. Мне нравится русский язык. So here in place of Russian language, it could be any other language. For example, like German. Мне нравится немецкий язык. Or Hindi. Мне нравится язык Hindi. Or Sanskrit. Мне нравится Sanskrit. Or any other language you would want to replace it with, you can choose and place it here. The sentence would remain in a same grammatical manner, but the meaning would change entirely. So, I hope that with the help of these concepts like we have just used, you can also use them with your family and friends in order to understand it properly. Okay, now we will go ahead. Here you can see a few more expressions. That's good. How old are you? I am 20 years, 30 years old. I have to go. I will be right back. So, these are very important expressions which we use in our day to day life. So, that's good. Это хорошо. How old are you? Сколько вам лет? I am 20 years, 30 years old. Мне 20 лет. Мне 30 лет. I have to go. Мне нужно идти. I will be right back. Я сейчас вернусь. So, these are the expressions you can also use with many other different situations. Suppose if somebody is 15 years old, сколько вам лет? How old are you? Мне 15 лет. So, accordingly you can change, as you already have learned about the counting in Russian. You can use all these different numbers in this setting and change it accordingly. Alright, now let us go ahead and pay attention to some of the very basic expressions of Russian like welcome, excuse me, sorry, help, fire or stop. Welcome is добро пожаловать. Excuse me is извините. Sorry is простите. Help is помогите. And fire is пожар. And stop is stop. So, these kind of expressions you would very oftenly see if you go to Russia in different places like market or in railway stations, airport, etc. And in any place, if you are sitting in a hall or if you are sitting in a place where you have the option of enter and exit, you would see the signs like vkhod and vykhod, which actually means to enter and to get out or to exit. So, these are the basic expressions you would be able to read in different signages across Russia, where you need to understand them properly and do accordingly. Alright, now let us go ahead and pay attention to some of the more important aspects of Russian conversation. Я понимаю. Понимать means to understand. So, for I we have я. I understand. Я понимаю. I don't understand. Я не понимаю. Please speak more slowly. Пожалуйста, говорите помедленнее. So, whenever you are using expressions, for example, when I say я понимаю, so the expression would match with the body language. Suppose you are saying I understand, so the expression would be like same. But suppose if you don't understand, the expression in a normal way we use in our own mother tongue, we have to carry that. I don't understand. Я не понимаю. Please speak more slowly. Пожалуйста, говорите помедленнее. Please write it down. Напишите or запишите, пожалуйста. Do you speak English? Вы говорите по-английски? Yes, a little. Да, немного. So, accordingly, once you understand not only the basics of using these expressions, but it should also match with your style, your body language, so that you process the information perfectly, and when conversing with the Russians, they will find it very easy to understand, to comprehend, and they would like it that you are speaking not only as if you have learned it like that, but you have actually embraced it. Alright, I hope you understood all these expressions in such a manner that we would like and we would want you to learn in a way that as if you are learning any other language like Russian as it's your own. Okay, now we will be learning about some of the expressions which we use in different situations. For example, if you are traveling, if you are visiting a place, you might be having an expression which we use oftenly, such as where is the toilet? And how do you say in Russian? How much is this? These expressions which we use in markets, which we use at the airport or the railway station and many other places very oftenly. So, where's the toilet? Где находится туалет? In place of toilet, you can also replace it with many other words, but the Russian, the sequencing of the word order would remain like this. Где находится что? Туалет. Magazine, which means shop. Где находится магазин? Где находится ресторан? Где находится отель? So, where does the restaurant is located, and where is the magazine, which means where is the shop, and many other such words you can replace it with and you will find it. So, people would say that находится там, находится туда, находится недалеко, находится далеко, and many other expressions which you already know. So, находится тут, locates here, находится там, locates there, находится недалеко, it's not very far, находится далеко, locates very far, and many other expressions which you would listen to, which you would hear if you converse in this manner. But the most important thing is that the word order has to be like this. So, how do you say in Russian? Как сказать по-русски? For example, if you have a picture of bread, so you would show it to somebody and you would say, как сказать по-русски? Вот это. The person would see that it is a bread and he would say, хлеб, хлеб. If you have a picture of a mineral water bottle, you would show it to somebody and you would say, как сказать по-русски? The person would say, минеральная вода, and many other. These are survival important things which people normally do when they go to Russia, and you would also use it, but however you are learning Russian, so that is why in place of как сказать по-русски, and you can replace it with many other words and the person would understand. How much is this? This expression is going to be used very oftenly. Сколько это стоит? And as we already know, the currency in Russia is ruble, so they would use it, that 5 ruble, 10 ruble, 5 rubles, 10 rubles accordingly. However, you can change it into dollars also or any other currency. For example, $5, $10. So, here when we are using сколько это стоит, we are actually dealing the sentence in the genitive case which we have learned. So, accordingly you can change it accordingly as per the rules of that particular case, and you will see that how easy it is to answer. Thank you very much. Огромное спасибо, большое спасибо. These expressions which we use very oftenly. So, here you have seen that thank you very much, we are using огромное спасибо as well as большое спасибо. Огромное, which means huge, and большое means big, but the expressions actually delivers the same expressions which we want to express. Mention not, it is okay. Не за что, не за что. Here you can see that the usage of ударение or the stress sign is important. Не за что. However, не за что, if we use separately, the pronunciation would be like that, but when we use mention not, we say не за что, не за что, because the ударение or the stress sign is on за, не за что. So, accordingly, you also need to not only learn the basics, but you have to master the pronunciation as well. I hope all these concepts are absolutely clear to you. Our recommendation is that you not only pronounce it properly, write it down and replace it with any other words which you have learned in your vocabulary, and you would find it very interesting, very easy to converse in Russian. We will be having a few more such expressions which would help you in dealing with day-to-day situations in Russian. Now, let us go ahead and pay attention to some of the important aspects of Russian which we use on occasions like festivals, New Year or birthday, etc. For wishing somebody a happy birthday, we use поздравлять, с кем, с чем. Поздравляю с днем рождения. We use the expression to wish a birthday to anybody with the standard expression. So, we have just learned about the expressions which we use if we would want to wish somebody happy birthday. It is поздравляю с вас с днем рождения. And if you wish to wish somebody with Merry Christmas, it is с Рождеством. And if you want to wish a Happy New Year, then it has to be с Новым годом. So, here you have seen the three different type of constructions, but it all falls into the rules of the grammar which is related to the tvarichalnya padyesh or the instrumental case which you must have learned in your previous modules. So, likewise you can also replace it with many other simple expressions using for singular or plural, but the expression of usage remains same. So, I hope usage is absolutely clear to you. You would be learning more such expressions in your upcoming modules. Now, let us go ahead and pay attention to some of expressions which we use in order to wish somebody. For example, best wishes, всего хорошего, good luck, удачи, have a nice day, хорошего дня, have a nice meal, приятного аппетита. So, in Russian, whenever we start our meal, it is customary to say приятного аппетита, which means have a nice meal or enjoy your meal all across Russia. So, you can use it very oftenly while sitting with family or friends or in a meeting afterwards for going for a lunch or for a dinner. You can also use приятного аппетита. It will be very impressive when Russians listen to it. And then you say happy journey, счастливого пути. So, these are certain expressions which we use very often in Russian whenever we are traveling, we are having our lunch or dinner, whenever we are saying or wishing somebody, we use all these kind of expressions. Alright, now let us go ahead and pay attention to some of the important words which we found in our family. And as in Russian, family is very important, so they always remember all these different relations, names, expressions in their family. So, family in Russian is семья, моя семья, my family, ваша семья, your family, твоя семья, your family, and их семья, their family. So, with the help of personal pronouns, you can use the same expressions in different manner, but however, in certain relations it remains same. Родители, always plural, родители, мои родители, my parents. Babushka, grandmother, very important. This word has always been used in order to have this expression which is closer to Russians. They use babushka and with very deep respect. So, grandmother, dedushka, grandfather. Another important word in Russian for parents, grandparents, they use very oftenly, then mach, mother, and отец means father. However, in Russian, as you know that we have been using these expressions in a formal setting. Suppose if it is informal, then in place of mach we have mama, and for отец we have papa. But you can use it as per the requirement, as per the context, so that it depends upon you. Alright, now let us go ahead and learn about a few more expressions, such words which we use and found in our family. Жена means wife, муж, husband, тетя means aunt, дядя means uncle, сестра means sister, and brat means brother. So, all these relations you find in family, and likewise you need to remember it by heart whenever you are conversing in Russian, and if somebody is telling you something about the family members or relatives, then you must understand it fully, especially when we have some of the words like tiotia, jiajia, babushka, dedushka. Sometimes they would be very similar. However, don't get confused when you are using and listening to these words like tiotia, jiajia, and use it otherwise. So, be very careful with the usage of such words. Jiajia always use with uncle, tiotia always use with aunt, dedushka means grandfather, and babushka always means grandmother. So, be very careful and always use it properly. For example, babushka, maya babushka, dedushka, moi. So, dedushka because masculine gender, babushka feminine gender. Likewise, tiotia, it means aunt. So, maya tiotia, my aunt. But jiajia, which means uncle, is moi, my uncle. So, be very careful while using it with the personal pronouns and use in a sentence. All right. Now, let us go ahead and pay attention to a few more such expressions which we see in family. Doch means daughter, syn means son, jechi means children, vnuk means granddaughter, vnuchka means granddaughter, and vnuk means grandson. So, here you have seen many different expressions, different words which we use in family in Russian, and use it accordingly. I hope the entire concept of having all these different words in a family is clear to you. Now, we will go ahead and pay attention to some of the important aspects which we have just learned in our module. So, we have learned about basic expressions, we have learned about different aspects of these expressions, these dialogues, in situation based dialogues, in many other aspects which we have seen, whether the person is traveling or wishing somebody a birthday or new year or Merry Christmas. We have seen these expressions which we have used in our family and many other such aspects. So, accordingly, I hope that you would also use these expressions in your own day-to-day communication Russian and would use your own vocabulary in order to make it more rich. I hope the concept is clear to you all and you have enjoyed this module. Thank you.